Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner. Pardon me for the quality of the sound in this video. My main microphone decided to not work right now, so we're going with the backup. For the purpose of the video though, we're going to talk right through it because I've got things to talk about here. Like, oh, I'm super excited about this one. People are asking me to give an analysis on the new Naruto spoilers, and I'm more than happy to talk about this. So, first things first. We're getting Demonic Dragon Berserker Shatura as a heart stamp full art promo for something. We'll eventually get this over here, so I need to get me this. Heart stamp Shatura. Yes, like we're not gonna get an SP Shatura ever, so this will be the closest thing to it. Yeah. So that being said though, we have 3 cards to talk about here, a Forerunner, a Grade 3, and a Stride, and they're all really good. If you're just looking for the short end of this, I'm just going to say all these cards are fantastic. You run them in your Vanquisher deck. The starter, you might as well be running in a lot of Naruto variants because he's just that good. And yeah, so there you go. So that being said, let's dive into this. So first off, we've got Hardrock Draco-kid. He's a Forerunner, and he has 2 abilities, and they are Act, Rearguard, press this unit. Your opponent binds a card from their drop zone. If they don't have a card to bind, you instead countercharge 1, and then you buff 1 Thunderstrike unit by 3000 for the turn. And his other skill is Act, Rearguard, Thunderstrike 4, counterbuff 1, put him to the soul. Choose one of your units, and it gets 3000 power during this turn. Then your opponent retire binds one of their Rearguards. Did anyone notice that this guy is not Generation Break restricted? Like, both abilities are usable at any time that's possible. Wow. Like, this is probably the best starter that Narukami has gotten in terms of quality since Ambush Eradicator Linchu came out, and that was set 10. The OG set 10. Like, it has been that long since we've gotten a starter that strong. Because I can tell you, the other Eradicator starters, not nearly as good as Linchu was. The Brawler starters, does anyone even remember what they do? And then the G-era starters, we ran Wild Run Dragoon out of necessity, and Escatic Dracokid was always competing with him because, like, I talked about Escatic though in my profile, so I'm not going to go into that here. This guy though is just better than all of them, as both of his abilities are usable whenever you need them to. The first one is far and away the better of the two. Thunderstrike 4, throw him into the soul. Your opponent retires and binds a unit. That's amazing. Like, this is a starter that extends your plays while also enabling your plays through the first ability. And that first ability, you can do so many mind-gamey things with it. Because how often has your opponent called their Stride Searcher down, and then they search their main Grade 3, and then they just discard a random card? Now they have to be mindful of what they discard, because you could very well bind a key card, like the Perfect Guard. If your opponent's playing Grand Blue, and they decide to discard Nightstorm, and now you can actually hit that Nightstorm, and that was probably the one of their playing. Or you hit a Skeleton Cannoneer, or King Serpent. So Night Rose has to be careful of what that does against this guy. Like, this card's so good, I'd actually consider running 2 of it, but the power buff in the countercharging, that's also really great. Like, if your opponent doesn't have anything, you get an unflip for free. Like, how often have we complained about counterblast management with the Vanquisher deck? This guy helps alleviate that. And the 3k buff too. It seems random, but we'll take it, especially considering that we have just enough Thunderstrike units to kind of use this. I mean, it would require running Trainee Monk Dragon if you weren't running it before, but Pure for Cause, I think he's worth putting back in the deck because of soul management. We'll get that in a bit. So this guy makes Trainee Monk Dragon 10,000, which allows you to hit 10k Vanguards by himself. It allows Dragon Dancer 14 to be 9k booster, which is enough to hit 9k Vanguards by herself. But then you pair him up with, say, Demonic Dragon Berserker Shatura. So, 9,000 Dragon Dancer 14 boosting a Shatura is 20,000. That's enough to hit any 10k Vanguard for a magic number. Now, if your opponent doesn't want Shatura to hit for you to get that draw, they have the 15k guard that. And then Trainee Monk Dragon, buffed by this guy's ability, boosting a Shatura, is 21. That's enough to hit any Grade 3 in the game that isn't cross-ridden or has a random 12k base. Hello, Great Composure Dragon. It allows you to hit any 11k Vanguard for the same amount of pressure. Your opponent has to throw 15k guard down, or they take the hit and you draw. Like, I don't know what else I can really say on this guy other than, yeah, you run him, and I might actually run 2 of it. Because think about it, imagine if you get 2 of these guys on the board against a deck that uses its drop zone a fair amount. You tap 2 of these guys, that's 2 binds every turn, and the fact that he's able to tap, like, really early is also interesting, because imagine if you need your opponent to put something in the drop zone, but they don't want to because this guy exists. What do? You call the Dragonic Vanquisher down, but you don't have a booster for him. You swing with a Shatura. Your opponent, what will they do? Almost 90% of the time, people will not let Shatura hit if they can help it. They don't want you to draw. So, they'll throw a 5k or a 10k down on it. Okay, Shatura didn't hit, but now they got a card in their drop zone. And because people don't like Shatura, they're going to throw everything they can to kill it. They'll call a grade 2 down. They'll attack it with a grade 2. You can 5k it. They attack with their Vanguard. Shatura dies. Great, he sponged the damage. Now, going your turn, you ride, and then you just rest this guy, find the card they discarded in order to stop Shatura from hitting, and you're already at Thunderstrike 1. And then you just keep going from there. Man, we're already 6 minutes into this video, and I'm on the damn Forerunner. Let's just keep going. Alright, so here's grade 3, Dragonic Vanquisher Sparking. Auto, Vanguard Circle, Thunderstrike 4. When your ride phase begins, you may countercharge 1 or soul charge 1, and your opponent chooses a card from a drop zone and binds it face up. Auto, Vanguard, counter +1. When you stride this unit with a G unit, you may pay a cost. If you do, your opponent binds a card face up from your drop zone. Then, if you happen to have strode a unit with the Thunderstrike ability, your opponent retire binds with their rear guards. I should also note that the retire binds I've mentioned so far, your opponent chooses, so resist still gets around this, but still. Anyway, that first ability, you're gonna likely be at Thunderstrike 4 going into your second turn. Like, getting to Thunderstrike 4 or 5 after first stride is definitely not going to be a problem anymore. Like, I was like, Thunderstrike 4? But then I was like, no, wait, no. You pretty much get the Thunderstrike 3 by the time you just get to the main phase of your first stride, between your starter and what else. But, yeah, that first ability, countercharging or soul charging, great. I mean, again, I've mentioned that counterblast management has always been an issue with Vanquisher decks, but the soul, that's also going to be something that we need to keep in the back of our minds, because we're using quite a few units of soul blasts now. Our stride soul blasts, Dragonexer 14 soul blasts, Martial Arts Dragon soul blasts, Rock Climb Dragoon soul blasts. That's 4 cards right there that soul blast, and 2 of our good grade 3s that are rear guards. 1 Strike 2 Folds Jin and Lightning General Bisham, they also soul blast. Like, you may very well run out of soul before you run out of counterblast with this deck. So having the ability to soul charge in case you need it is great. This also takes pressure off Dragondancer, Vian, and Anastasia for unflipping if you can't see them, because again, this guy can just soul charge, and you get a bind on top of that. So it doesn't matter what deck you're up against, Granblue, Pale Moon, Shadow Paladin, like if they're a deck that ends without a board, you still get binds, and while you won't be able to accelerate to your big Thunderstrike plays as fast as you would against a deck that has a board, the fact is you can still play Vanguard against these decks that would normally play around you. Great. And there's other skill, Counterblast 1. Your opponent binds a card from their drop zone regardless of the board state. So once you're at Thunderstrike 4, you're going to be binding 2 cards off of just your Vanguard, while also building up a countercharge or a soul. And on top of that, if you stride something with a Thunderstrike ability, which at this time is Dragonic Vanquisher Buster, B-Max, and Voltex Zapper Dragon. Those are the 3 G units with Thunderstrike that would be able to trigger this guy. All other ones don't get to retire, but all the other ones usually have some other means of retiring, or if you're going to go into, say, Voltage, at this point you've already built up a large enough bind zone that it doesn't really matter. And then as far as retiring goes, yeah, your opponent chooses with dies, but that's honestly what needed to happen. The original Vanquisher's retire skill had become so easy to play around, with decks being able to just clear their front row out, that you weren't really using it as much as you would like to, at least against the most relevant decks. Granted, there is still a place for original Vanquisher's retire power, which is why I would run 2 or 3 of it in the deck, but your opponent, if they're playing a deck that leaves its front row empty, they probably have really valuable back row units, so this guy's going to be able to get things like the... oh, whatchamacallit, there's some good examples here. Like retire fodder for Shadow Paladins, or Negro Bone or Grand Blue. Like if they leave one of those things up, or they end their turn with a Mythagosty in the back, and they have literally nothing else there, this guy can snipe it. So there you go for that. And for basically Counterblast 1, again, you're binding 3 cards going into your main phase. Great stuff. And now we got this guy, Conquering Supreme Dragon, Dragonic Vanquisher, VBuster. Act. Once per turn, Soul Blast 1 and Persona Flip. Your opponent chooses 1 card from their drop zone and rear guard and binds them face up. If you have more rear guards than your opponent after this effect resolves, choose 3 of your units and they gain 3 power for this turn. Then, Continuous, Vanguard Circle, Generation Break 3, Thunderstrike 7, all of your units in the front row gain 5,000 power, and this unit gains Critical +1 and Drive +1. So, I would like to take this moment to ask for all of us to press F to pay respects for Conquest Dragon, as after carrying our clan for 10 sets, and being in some variation of Narukami's G-Zone since Set 2 came out 2 years ago, it is finally time for him to take a bow and a much-needed rest, because I'm pretty certain his back is damn near broken at this point. VBuster pretty much replaces Conquest in most Narukami variants. Now some will still run it like Brawler because they can't bind as efficiently as the Vanquisher deck, so you won't be able to get the most mileage out of Voltage, VMAX, or this guy's Thunderstrike 7, but at least for the Vanquisher deck, Conquest is gonna finally be ousted out. I mean, 10 sets for a G unit is a pretty impressive run. I can't think of very many of the clans that are still running their cards from Set 2 outside of Lambros. Gears are still using Next Stage, but like Kagero stopped using Root Flare. Nobody's using any of the cards since. Oh wait, no. Novographers are still using Victor, so they actually have us beat in that regard. They've been using their guy for 11 sets, but I digress. This guy is a fantastic upgrade. He is the best first stride for just about any Narukami variant, hands down. It's questionable for Sweep and Eradicators because Linchu is really good for Erads, but this guy is a fairly strong card in his own right. So, first off, he doesn't cost Counterblasts. He costs Soul. So, again, that little Soul issue. Because this guy and some of the other cards, we might very well have to start running Malevolent Djinns in addition to our Lightning of Hope Resefs, but because we have the ability to get an extra drive, which is more cards in hand, we have Dragon Dancer Fontaine, and the new Dragon Dancer Anastasia also draws. I suspect she's Thunderstrike 4. We can actually make do without draws, and because we actually have enough countercharging with our starter and sparking, we might even be able to cut Dragon Dancer Vian down to some amount. It depends ultimately on what purple guard you run. If you run the new Anastasia, then I would run Vian for the unboost, but if you run original Anastasia, then I would run draw triggers to make up for it. But anyway, so first skill, it turns on Thunderstrike 2 in any Narukami variant, which is great. It also flips a copy of face up, so it helps heal VMAX for at least 2 rear guards. It happens. Sometimes you just need to go to VMAX, and you don't even care about the Thunderstrike 5. You just need to punch 2 things. Your opponent has 2 Laurels in the back, or 2 Barkles in the back, and you want them gone. VMAX gets you there. And this guy is a better alternative to first riding Vanquisher, and certainly a much better first ride than Zors if you're still running it. In addition to this, he also gives you just because you get 3 units getting 3,000 power. So that's 6,000 to a column or 3,000 to the front. It little increments that matter. It makes a Shatura line that's got a 7k behind it. That's what, 18 plus 6 is 24. So it's another stage of guarding power. I think that makes martial arts dragon lines. Martial arts dragon plus the 7k is 19 plus 6 is, okay, no. So it's not enough to like boost most columns to the 26th line, but it's still enough to at least get, as a first stride, allow you to boost a column to above 21, which is G-Guard territory, which when you're doing this with Chakra, that's great. But pair this up with the starter, and it's also a 3rd card bound, so if you stride this guy on top of this guy while also using your starter, that's 2, 4, 5. That's 5 cards bound after just getting to your main phase of your first stride turn. Or if they don't have any cards in the drop zone, you countercharge one and buff the unit by 3k. Still, you're ending your turn at Thunderstrike 5. Like, the Thunderstrike 7 seems like a lot, but then you realize, no, Vanquisher can get to Thunderstrike 5 or maybe even Thunderstrike 6 by the end of its first turn. So now it's no longer a matter of, I'm going to have, how hard do I have to work to make Bulwark be able to retire 1? It's, how hard do I have to work to make Bulwark Dragon be able to retire 2? And then the Generation Break 3 Thunderstrike 7 skill. It's another 5,000 buff to the front row. He gets a crit and an extra draw. My initial idea for an upgraded G unit that can be used as first strike would be to counterblast 1, soul blast 1, persona flip, and for every copy of itself face up, your opponent retire binds cards in the field, and then you just buff things at Generation Break 3. But you know what? I will take this. My only gripe with this card, and it's a small one, but it's still something to mention here, is that he doesn't actually retire anything on the board. Your opponent just binds every unit face up. And the reason why I mention this is that Dragon Dancer VN and Chainbolt Dragoon will not proc off of this guy. So you're going to have to find some other way to enable those cards. You'll need to get them on the board and use Sparking skill, or you'll need to play Rock Climb Dragoon, or some other means of retiring in order to get those skills off. It's a small gripe, but it's something I do need to point out because some people will probably mistakenly call down a VN and a Chainbolt Dragoon, use this guy's Persona Flip, and assume those skills are going to proc. They won't. So, that being said, the question is now, how do we build our G-Zone around this? Like, I'm pretty certain it's going to be 4 Buster, 4 Voltage, 1 to 2 VMAX, 1 Breeze, and Closer Dragon. But, at the same time, no, but you also need to make room for the G-Guards. Like, I think the G-Zone's pretty much going to be 8 Vanquisher Strides, no, 9 Vanquisher Strides, 1 Closer Dragon, 1 Sea Breeze, and 5 G-Guards. Which is a kind of a shame, because I really want to fit Voltex Zapper Dragon into the deck. Like, between Sparking and Hardrock Draco-kid, it's definitely possible to get the Thunderstrike 4 or maybe even 6 on your first stride, which will allow Voltex Zapper Dragon to retire 2 or 3 things, and thus kind of put you to Thunderstrike 8 or 9, I mean 6 or 9, which in itself is really silly, but all of these cards are fantastic. Is it going to be enough to make the deck top tier? Hard to say. I'm going to be hopeful that we're going to get more quality units. Like, if we get more cards like Hardrod Draco-kid in the deck, then I think it actually has a chance. Like, my biggest gripe has been a lack of a good first stride. They fixed that. A lack of countercharging. They got 2 cards to do that. A means of playing around your opponent playing around you. We got that. A lack of early game binding. We got that too. So now it's just a matter of having some more quality main deck units to take advantage of the Thunderstrike skills that we currently have, and we might get there. Like, I would like to see a Thunderstrike version of Rock Climb Dragoon. I know that might be asking a bunch, but I would just like to run something aside from Martial Arts Dragon, because College Master Dragon's not really good. Like, he's just only good the turn you call it, whereas I want a more better value Grade 2. I don't know what to do, but basically the lineup is going to be 4 Shatura, some number of Martial Arts Dragon, and then it goes from there. And then for the Grade 1s, I'm going to be running 2/2 Fatine and what's his name? Oh, I was talking about him earlier too, Training Monk Dragon. And I might actually cut down Chainbolt Dragoon a bit, because these new cards take the pressure off Chainbolt Dragoon to give you rapid binding, because we can now bind much faster without even getting to Gen Break, thanks to this guy, Martial Arts Dragon and Shatura. And Shatura, whew, those full art heart scans. But these cards are all great. I can't wait to proxy them out and start testing. I ain't waiting for Cardfight area. I'm gonna do this as soon as I possibly can. I just hope I have enough ink for all these cards. That being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see my thoughts on the Eradicator cards that were spoiled last week, I'll provide a link to that in my blog. I'm going to be doing weekly posts on there for all the Narukami support that gets revealed over the course of the week, and then once the set drops, I'll obviously be done. But it's just, if you want to hear my thoughts on Linshu and the other cards, then check it out. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and Comment down below, how excited are you about these cards? Because, people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm feeling simply electric over this. I'm on cloud 9. Okay, fine, I'll stop, but seriously, these cards are great. I can't wait for them to come out here. Until next time, this is VBuster89, jacking out.